in two consecutive knockout games in the World Cup, and he did it in 1958. Since then, no one has attempted it under 23 until Jude Bellingham did it against Norway after achieving it or managing it against Mexico. So it is time for Sports Grandeur on Oj 106.3 FM Benin. My name is Ohisa Boreme, and I'll be taking you through a host of activities that went down, or the sporting events and sporting recent developments that went down over the weekend. The last time we're here, only France had qualified for the semi-finals of the FIFA on the 2026 World Cup, but now they have been joined by Spain, who defeated Belgium, England, who defeated Norway, and of course Argentina, who defeated sorry, Switzerland. So the top four ranked teams in FIFA, according to the FIFA rankings, have qualified for the semi-finals of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. France, Morocco, we talked about it here on Friday. France defeated Morocco by 2-0. Kylian Mbappe, his 20th World Cup goal, and delivered his 5th World Cup assist to Ousmane Dembele, who has scored 5 goals at this World Cup tournament, making Kylian Mbappe and Ousmane Dembele the first pair to score 8 and 5 goals respectively for one national team since a certain Ronaldo and Rivaldo did it for Brazil in that victorious 2002 World Cup held in Korea, Japan, jointly hosted. All right, so right now, England defeated Norway, like we said earlier when we were introducing the show for today, by 2-1. They had to do it the hard way, coming from a goal down. But if you are looking for a resilient team, of course England had the definition of that. We saw what they did against DR Congo when they were faced with elimination. Leo Mpasi was in tremendous form, quite inspired. Was a one-man block until Harry Kane had other ideas, and due to a couple of Aaron Gordon assists, Harry Kane swept past DR Congo and qualified England for the round of 16. And it was something similar this time, not Harry Kane, but Jude Bellingham, who scored his 5th and 6th World Cup goals in this tournament, and 7 in total, to take England to the semi-finals of the World Cup. All right, Jude Bellingham joined Sander Coxes, who did it in 1954, Pele, who did it in 1958, Mane Garincha, Joy of the People, who did it in 1962, Diego Maradona, who did it in 1986, and of course Bellingham himself. Of course, he joined that select group of players who have scored braces in 2 successive knockout games. England's opponents in the semi-finals will be none other than Argentina, who defeated Switzerland 3-1 after extra time. Argentina opened scoring via Liverpool's Alexis McAllister off a Leo Messi record-breaking 10th assist in the World Cup history. Leo Messi became the first player to have double figures in goals and assists in the history of the World Cup. Of course, he's no stranger to making and breaking records, also setting unassailable ones, like we always say here. Argentina won that match 3-1. Messi wasn't on the score sheet, but he provided the first, and the second was scored in the 112th minute by Julian Alvarez. Just when we're saying, oh, Argentina won 2-1, Inter's Lautaro Martinez, 3rd highest goal scorer in terrestrial history, scored a 3rd to put the icing on the cake. So Albi Celeste versus 3 Lions in the semi-finals of the World Cup. France will be facing off against Albi Roja, of course La Roja of Spain, after they defeated Belgium by 2-1. Charles de Catalara bricked the Spanish defense, finally equalizing after Spain scored the first goal via Fabian Ruiz, who plays the straight in France with PSG. But Spain didn't relent, and Mikel Merino, who has become something of a super sub everywhere he's been, capitalized on a strange Sonny Lamens error. Sonny Lamens, you say, where did that guy come from? He had to come in for the injured Thibaut Courtois. It wasn't Thibaut Courtois' decision to be subbed off, but he was obviously curtailed by injury. Obviously, couldn't do anything beyond what was expected from someone who had that injury in the first half of the match, had to trudge on, but at the end of the day, it wasn't enough to convince the manager to keep him on. He had to be subbed for Sonny Lamens, who is number one goalkeeper at Manchester United. Uncharacteristic error, which was pounced upon by Mikel Merino. Pau Kubasi took that initial shot that was spilled by Sonny Lamens, and of course, who other than Mikel Merino to pounce and score the winner for Spain. It is a blockbuster semi-final. France versus Spain, Argentina versus England. Who wins? It remains to be seen. So tomorrow, France will be tackling La Roja in the first semi-final of the World Cup. It was the business end in the quarterfinals. Now it is much more than business. This is blood, sweat, and tears now coming into play. France, being France, with all their players, all their world-class stars, and their support cast, will be looking to get one over La Roja after losing their two previous encounters versus Luis de la Fuente's side. Right, so Didier Deschamps has at least the semi-finals of every tournament he has taken France to. I think bar one, he got to the quarterfinals of one of the tournaments, but mostly the semi-finals. As a player and as a manager, he has really achieved a lot. Some people have said he has overachieved. He has been in charge of France for more than a decade and done very, very well. The next coach will have a lot to prove, to eclipse the achievements of Didier Deschamps. So that's it for the World Cup. At this point, Spain definitely be looking to build on that confidence, having beaten France in their last two encounters, but this is the World Cup and France highly unlikely to be complacent, highly unlikely to entertain doubts, self-doubts, or whatever you have, or whatever you call it. It is going to be a match between two giants of European and world football. Let's see who emerges victorious. The second semi-final will be in 2 days' time. Argentina facing off against England. Messi has never played against England, so it is definitely going to be a new challenge for the Argentine superstar, who at 39 is still at the peak of his powers. Let's see what he can do against the likes of Mark Gahey, John Stones, Nico O'Reilly, and co. Jed Spence came on in that match versus Norway and added something different. Energy was everywhere, really. His versatility is not in doubt. Did quite well. It is always good for strong teams to have benches they can count on, and I think England, they have very good players on the bench. Bukayo Saka had to come in the second half, as well as Eberechi Eze. Declan Rice was obviously unfit, and it was as if England played with 9 outfield players until Declan Rice had to make way for Eberechi Eze, who is his teammate at Arsenal. As for the World Cup, Wimbledon, well, it was checkmate on Saturday. Caroline Muchova versus Linda Noskova. Caroline Muchova being the more experienced of the pair, and Linda Noskova being the fearless 21-year-old, finally prevailed in that Wimbledon Titanic clash. At Wimbledon, well, they were friends, or they are still friends, even though after the final, Caroline Muchova jokingly said "my ex-friend" when she was giving her loser speech, runner-up speech. Let's not rub salt on her wounds. All right, so Caroline Muchova Well, she was. She lost the first set, and the second set she was 5-2 down. She actually saved 5 match points to win that second set 7-5, and it was a straight shootout in that decider. Linda Noskova did everything she could. Youth, confidence, resilience, that ability, that marked determination to finally win a Grand Slam title. And in the end, it paid off as the 21-year-old defeated her Czech counterpart in 3 sets to win the 2026 Wimbledon title. The Venus Rosewater dish in front of greats like Martina Navratilova, who has won 9 herself, Billie Jean King, who has won 6 herself in singles, as well as other great players, past and present. All right. At some point during this Wimbledon tournament, the great Roger Federer was there. Cricket legend Sachin Tendulkar was also present, and he's been a tennis fan for a long time, even when he was an active cricket player. The likes of Virat Kohli have actually taken over from Sachin when it comes to Indian cricket. Through the end of the 2026 um, tennis season. So at the end of the day, we'll see if Darren Cahill will extend it beyond 2026, because he was meaning to stop in 2025. He didn't, and now he has said that he is going to continue coaching Yannick Sinner until the end of 2026. I wouldn't blame him. Of course, who wouldn't want to coach the world number one who is winning title after title? So 30 career titles for the 25-year-old Yannick Sinner, and I don't think there's any stopping the man at this point, winning titles left, right, and center. Pretty much every title on offer. Has won 5 Masters titles this year already. Is he aiming to win all 9 titles in a calendar year. Nobody has done it. Only Yannick and Novak have won all the Masters 1000 titles. Let us see if Yannick becomes the only tennis player in history to win all titles on offer. Yannick Sinner is also beginning his 80th week as world number 1, surpassing the great Leighton Hewitt, who won 2 Grand Slams and was affectionately called Rusty. So Yannick Sinner is trying to get to that maybe otherworldly level of the big 3, Roger, Rafa, and Novak, who between them can appreciably say they have won 66 Grand Slam singles titles. Roger winning 20, Rafa 22, and Novak 24. When we were here on Friday, Yannick Sinner was going to play Novak Djokovic in the semi-finals of Wimbledon. And of course, Yannick Sinner pretty much floored the legend in that match. Yannick Sinner won that match in straight sets, taking 3 out of 13 breakpoint opportunities and not allowing Djokovic any breather at all. So Djokovic fell in the semi-final. That semi-final hurdle has proved to be a stumbling block for him for a long time. Only managed to beat Sinner in the semi-finals of the Australian Open earlier this year and fell ultimately to the eventual champion, Carlos Alcaraz. Carlos Alcaraz became the first player to beat Novak Djokovic in an Australian Open final. So yeah, that's it for Wimbledon. Attention will definitely shift to other tournaments and the build-up to the beginning of the US Open at Flushing Meadows, August-September 2026, the final Grand Slam of the year. You know, the US Open, there's always fireworks. Pressure is a privilege, according to the great Billie Jean King. All right, so yeah, that's it for Wimbledon. We'll now go straight to transfers. So many transfers went through over the weekend. We have been talking about Karim Adeyemi's proposed move to Barcelona that has ultimately been concluded because Karim Adeyemi is now a Barcelona player. I do not think anything was going to stop that from happening. He definitely wanted to go to Barcelona, and Barcelona have developed a very good relationship with Borussia Dortmund over the years. Even though they couldn't prize away Erling Haaland, Manchester City beat them to that. All right, so we'll start the transfers with the German international who wasn't selected to go to the World Cup, which was a surprise. But now he's got his dream move. It's always important for us to say his dream move. Oh, sorry about that. So for Karim Adeyemi, his dream move to Barcelona has finally become a reality, as he has now become Barcelona's latest acquisition. That is for Karim Adeyemi. All right. So for Aston Villa, they edged ahead of Newcastle and agreed a deal. In fact, Johan Manzambi preferred to go to Villa Park over Tyneside. The Magpies would definitely be feeling hard done by. Of course, it has happened before. There was a time when Tottenham thought they had all but signed Willian, and the Mourinho practically said no. Come to Chelsea, and he had done a medical at White Hart Lane, for White Hart Lane then, not in Tottenham Stadium. And well, after the medical, he still signed for Chelsea instead of Tottenham. So it has happened before. Look at the Manchester United Ederson situation, where Manchester United decided against going ahead with the deal after discovering whatever they saw during the medicals. Well, that medical examination actually revealed one or two things which Manchester United were uncomfortable with. It happened with our very own Victor Boniface. last time out when he was this close to joining AC Milan. The Rossoneri wanted very much to sign him on loan or whatever it was, and when they detected one or two things with respect to his fitness, they decided against going ahead with the deal. He eventually ended up at Werder Bremen. We remember the Werder Bremen of Thomas Schaff. Those days under, Johan Miku played for Werder Bremen. Arsenal legend. Should we say he's an Arsenal legend? He's definitely a German legend. Mesut Ozil played for Werder Bremen as well. Werder Bremen had a very good team then. So Victor Boniface went there after that deal collapsed, that AC Milan deal collapsed, but he didn't manage to fare well there. He has actually resumed training very early at Bayer Leverkusen, hoping to regain that form which saw him become one of the best strikers in the bully, and was also part of that unbeaten side under Xavi Alonso. All right, so let's see how it pans out for Victor Boniface this season, because he wants to start it on a high and end it with success. So it remains to be seen what is going to happen. All right. Some people have also said that Yuri Telemans is Manchester United bound. That really caught a lot of people by surprise. Well, Manchester United triggered the £35 million clause of Yuri Telemans, and there's no way that Yuri Telemans will say no to Manchester United. No way, no way that's ever going to happen. Well, an Aston Villa player saying no to Manchester United is not something I have ever seen in my life. All right, so, well, if this deal goes through, he did well in patches, the World Cup. Of course, Senegal won't forget him in a hurry. He is Manchester United bound. You have to believe David Ornstein. David Ornstein alongside Fabrizio Romano are the two best transfer guys in the business. So you got to believe them. And if David Ornstein says Manchester United have advanced in talks to sign Yuri Telemans, then so be it. All right. Anyways, Fenerbahce contacted Manchester United concerning the buyback clause, and Olympic Marseille actually contacted Manchester United because Mason Greenwood is Fenerbahce bound, and Manchester United decided not to trigger or activate any buyback clause and allow them in order to allow Mason Greenwood to freely go to Fenerbahce off Turkey. And Manchester United also said the sell-on clause is definitely going to come to them about 10 million. So if everything works as planned, Mason Greenwood will definitely be donning the colours of Fenerbahce next season in Turkey. Whether it is a good move, whether it is a career upgrade, it remains to be seen. But for Mason Greenwood, he should bid farewell to his Manchester United career if there was ever any hope, even though hope springs eternal. But with the fans saying they do not want someone of that character, whatever they say, because Mason should just know that there's no way back in. So he's going to Fenerbahce. Good luck to him. I personally like him, and I personally believe in second, third, fourth, fifth, seventh, 10th chances, because in life, nobody is infallible. We are all prone to mistakes. Nobody is spotless. So let us always give room for forgiveness. Forgiveness is important. To err is human, and to forgive is divine. But that's just me. I don't know of anybody else. All right. So let's go ahead with some other transfer news. Slaven Bilic. We remember Slaven Bilic. He managed Croatia. Remember what they did to England in 2008 and how they also performed well. We remember him at West Ham as well. he has agreed to return to become the coach of Croatia after Zlatko Dalic, the guy who was there for the best part of 12 years, said he was no longer continuing on the job. So a familiar face is going to be taking over Croatia. Talking about national team takeover, we national teams take over. Jurgen Klopp will soon become officially the coach of Germany. For now, the Celeste Uruguay have also appointed legendary Diego Forlan as interim national team manager, in addition to him handling their under 20 team as well. All right, so that's that for that. Besiktas have been discussing with Leandro Trossard of Arsenal. I think, well, I don't know why Arsenal letting Trossard go. Age, they want to look elsewhere for other options, whatever it is. The number of years he has been there, the number of seasons he has been there, the number of games he has played, the number of goals he has contributed, important goals. I think that all these qualify him for at least another shot at Arsenal. But yeah, football is like that, very unpredictable. The Belgian might soon be a Besiktas player because talks have advanced club to club. Between club to club, Besiktas, they are close to agreeing personal terms with Leandro Trossard. All right, so we said it before that Johan Manzambi has decided to join Aston Villa and Unai Emery instead of Newcastle and Eddie Howe. All right, so some people say that that choice wasn't so difficult. Okay, all right. I was discussing with a few guys yesterday, and they said, yeah, it wasn't a difficult choice. Aston Villa and Newcastle right now. Aston Villa, because of the manager they have. Eddie Howe is also a very good manager, but he is not Unai Emery. He did not win Europa League after Europa League after Europa League with different teams and not be counted among the greats. Right. So for Eddie Howe, he's still learning the ropes, and he's not yet that manager. Okay. And I wonder what Newcastle are still doing with him, but maybe it is also very good to keep fit, right? And to also be quite confident that there will be that turnaround. Manchester United had it with Sir Alex Ferguson. If they had sacked him, I don't know where Manchester United would have been today. So that patience paid off, and he won title after title after title after title. 13 Premier League titles in 26 seasons. Never finished a season below third place. I think the only blight in his career is that he would, or the only question mark is how many more Champions League titles should he have won? Because two don't do justice to that managerial career. It was actually what made him the greatest British manager of all time. Okay, we have British managers like York Stein, Bill Shankly, but Fergie stands ahead of all of them. Okay, so well, more transfer news for you guys. Strasbourg have confirmed that Hugo Oliveira has joined as their head coach. All right, Hugo Oliveira is someone who a lot of people highly rate, and I also do too, but I do not see the force, right? But people are saying, yeah, this guy's got promise, he's got talent, he's got a future, a very, very bright future. And happily, let us see how that goes. Okay. All right. So, 41 million euros, 35 million pounds for Yuri Telemans. Everyone is now carrying it. Fabrizio Romano have said a medical has been booked this week for Yuri Telemans. All right. So, Andre Santos first, Yuri Telemans next. They are looking for midfielders who are affordable. They don't want to pay over the top for anybody at this point. Okay, so congratulations in advance to Yuri Telemans. He's just a few days away from becoming, and a few details away from becoming a Manchester United player. Very good stuff. All right, Lazio are closing in on Danilo Deski deal on a free transfer. All right, free transfer after he left Union Berlin. All right, so yeah, free transfers are good. People living on the Boston are quite good. Free transfers are good. Have helped a lot of clubs. Don't think that because a player is on a free, is now a free agent, that it diminishes any value that he has. No, nothing like that. Nothing. And we also have to congratulate our very own Stanley Wabali, who has decided to allow common sense to prevail and has gone back to his former club, Chippa United. I'm sure he thought he was now maybe Claudio Taffarel or Gianluca Pagliuca. So he thought he was going to be snapped by one of these big European clubs. It is very, very difficult for goalkeepers to switch themes like that, except you are incredibly good. Vozina, with all his heroics, is still holidaying in Cape Verde. People haven't really shown genuine interest, right? It's not solid. It's just all talk for now. Andrew Iraola has said they've signed 2 players and they will sign more. That's the Liverpool manager. He's quite confident in what he can bring to Liverpool next season. We saw what he did at Modest Bournemouth. We saw what he could do there with some very good players as well, admittedly, but he made them better. He made them known. He put them on the map. All right. Manchester United have sent formal confirmation to Atalanta about the Ederson deal that is off, as exclusively revealed on Friday. So Brazilian midfielder won't join Manchester United, and Atalanta have offered him a new deal until June 2031, maybe like a compensation package. That compensation package is going to be sealed, of course, after negotiations. Ederson is obviously disappointed and back to Italy, but I am sure that Manchester United's hands were tied and there was nothing else they could do. You can't sign a player that his medicals are shitty. So, sorry, Ederson. For Ibrahima Konate, Real Madrid is the greatest club in the world. Of course, my father's house is the biggest house in the world too. So, but for Real Madrid, I think he has a case, because you don't win 15 Champions League titles and you're not the biggest club in the world. It's not possible, right? So it's a dream to join the club, but until I put on the shirt, I will not still believe it. So he hasn't fully come to terms with the fact that he's a Real Madrid player until he puts on the shirt. And I think he's a shoo-in for a starting berth at Real, because who is there? Tony Rudiger, with all his experience, is no longer a young man. So I think that guy will come in from the bench. So Dean Hudson and probably Konate are the starting centre backs. But who knows? Jose Mourinho is not someone you can predict anymore. You never could predict him. That's why he is the special one. For me, he's still special. Yeah. But for some people, that special one thing don't fade. But for me, he's still the special one. All right. So, Luka Moscovic to Brighton. It's an exclusive story that is developing, and it's set to become official this week, according to Fabrizio Romano. All right. So, Aston Villa actually are going to buy Johan Manzambi for 68 million euros. As against the 60 million euros that Newcastle were planning to pay. So it's not just about Manzambi's preference. I think that additional 8 million also did the trick. All right. So good stuff for the guys who are moving. Okay. So Paulo Dybala has agreed in terms of a new deal at AS Roma. Nobody doubted that. Signed, sealed, completed today, official, maybe before the end of the week or next week or whenever they are ready. Barcelona president Juan Laporta on Rafinha. We do not want Rafinha to leave. He's a key player for us, but he's been injury ravaged. And let's see if injuries will give him a break this season, because Barcelona really need him. But they are signing players on the wings in preparedness for any eventuality. All right. So Julian Alvarez has also said Julian Alvarez has been praised by Juan Laporta, who is the president of Barcelona, that his goal against Switzerland, which was the go-ahead goal for his country, Argentina, was beautiful, delightful, and magnificent. They called it a golazo. When your goal is called a golazo, it is absolutely beautiful. All right. So Juan Laporta has also said Anthony Gordon is in excellent form. He's open in the one-on-one. His assist for Jude Bellingham was magnificent. As for Anthony Gordon, right? As for Anthony Gordon, so I've been saying Aaron Gordon. I don't know why. Aaron Gordon is a basketballer. So as for Anthony Gordon has done very, very well at this World Cup. Looking at the circumstances, he came from the bench, assisted Harry Kane twice in order for England to advance past the Congo. Also assisted Jude Bellingham for his first goal against Norway. So he has done well when it has mattered most. So the praise is not far-fetched, right? So Juan Laporta, who is the Barcelona Supremo, has also said the Barcelona Atletico talks concerning Julian Alvarez is well, there was some confusion at the beginning actually, but they are trying to find that solution before Julian Alvarez can finally become a Barcelona player. And Miguel Angel Gil, who is the guy running the things at Atletico Madrid, is actually being cooperative. Let's see how that is going to end. I am sure that all this protracted transfer talks, and when they linger on, you know that the player will definitely go to the club that wants to purchase him. Just delay tactics in order to maybe hike up the money, right? So the stakes are high, pretty high. So let's see how that goes for all parties involved. We wish them the best, really. Okay. So as now, I'm actually waiting for Leandro Trossard to go to Besiktas in order for them to bring in a new winger. I thought as much. As for Tariq Moharemovic, remember him? That was the guy that Folarin Balogun actually stamped. Well, mistakenly, unintentionally, before he got that red card that became the biggest controversy at the World Cup so far. Right, Leeds United are going to sign him soon, right? Hopefully, because they are confident they will get it done. Jan Sommer to Club Brugge. Wow, here we go. According to Fabrizio Romano, those days it used to be Gianluca Di Mazzo. Well, Di Mazzo was the man who everyone really depended on for the latest transfer news, not transfer gossip, transfers that were very likely to be done. But since then, it has been Fabrizio Romano and very silently David Ornstein, till a lot of people took notice and said, David Ornstein is another highly reliable transfer guy. And he's right there. He's top one, top two. All right. So that's for transfers for these guys who want to go ahead in their careers. Sometimes transfers do more harm than good. Sometimes they work in your favor. So it remains to be seen how all these will pan out for these guys who are interested in jumping ship. All right, so that's the much we can take on Sports Grandeur on OJ 106.3 FM Benin. It has been a fun ride. Thank you very much, our listeners and viewers. Continue to support us. Like, share, comment, do everything possible to help us continue to build the engagements. We need the analytics. We need everything. We need the impressions. Everything on our social media platforms. Do right this week and stay safe. Cheers.